I don't believe this. You lied to us all these years. Even lied to us about your name.
Sorry, okay? I'm sorry, fellas. I'm sorry. But when you're wanted by the feds, you don't exactly go around telling everybody about it, okay?
We are not everybody, Martin. We are your partners. You tell us.
Fine. Exactly why was it you had to leave the CIA? We all have our little secrets, don't we? Look, you guys have a decision to make. This is not a test. The penetration is live. The target is unaware.
Sneaking a foreign intelligence service that might kill us to keep us out is not what we do.
The probable level of security is very low. But if you guys don't want to take that chance just to keep me out of jail, fine, I understand. Don't do it.
Well, Bish, I can't speak for the other guys, but I'm in it for the money. I don't care if you go to jail.
Me neither. I'm in.
Could we maybe just go back to the they might kill us part?
Mother, if I thought that was likely to happen, I wouldn't bring this to you, but there is a risk.
It pays $175,000.
I'm in.
You guys will need chalk outlines without me. All right. What do we need?
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain.
Have you ever been in an institution? Cells.
Cells.
Do they keep you in a cell? Cells.
Cells.
When you're not performing your duties, do they keep you in a little box? Cells.
This causes it. This causes it. This causes it. Information overload. All the electronics around you poisoning the airwaves.
You are listening to the High Tech Low Life podcast, a cyberpunk media retrospective. High Tech Low Life contains language and themes not suitable for all audiences, as well as spoilers for the content being covered. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back to the High Tech Low Life podcast with your hosts, Eric and Jersh. I'm Eric.
And Jersh.
I am so excited to be awake right now. How about you?
Yes. Every day. I wake up at 6:30 on the dot. I'm just raring to get at it. And then on Sundays, I wait 7 hours.
Wait by your microphone.
Yeah.
Wait for the email ding to come through.
Yep. Every day.
Anyway, we're here. It's a High Tech Life podcast. We talk about cyberpunk movies, films, books. That's about it, really. We claim to talk about video games and other stuff, but
hey, TV shows.
We've done a couple of those.
Yeah.
This week it's a movie, and it skirts the edges of cyberpunk.
Not the least cyberpunk thing we've covered.
No, because we've covered The Thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, that was the one.
Yeah. But, it's got technology. It's got hacking. It's got some cool
and it is messaging. It is a fun caper.
It's a caper.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like heist movies, I feel like they are adjacent to cyberpunk because for me, I equate cyberpunk to Shadowrun, and Shadowrun is basically a heist video or a heist TTRPG.
Yeah, that's as we were saying on the Discord yesterday, day before, whenever. In my mind, Heat is the ultimate cyberpunk, like the ultimate Shadowrun movie. Like, yeah. Even though there's nothing cyberpunk about it, it's just a bunch of armed robbers. Right. It is like the exact structure of a good-sized Shadowrun adventure.
Absolutely. If only there were elves in it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Throw some fucking pointy ears on Val Kilmer, we'd be in good shape.
He could do it.
And some tusks on Tom Sizemore? Yes, okay.
He could definitely do Orc.
Yeah, okay, I'm liking this.
R.I.P. To a perfectly non-problematic man. All right, Let's stop talking about that. Let's talk about dystopia talk, because we do it every week. If you're new here, every week we
talk taupe.
We talk taupe, and right out of the gate, we kill the evergreenness of this episode. We freeze it to a moment of time and make this episode unenjoyable for any future listeners. Suck on it, Spotify reviews. Talking taupe, what taupe do you have for the week? I am drawing a blank. I think it was a pretty good week.
Yeah, I think everything's going great, actually. Let's see. Oh, there was, I hesitate to even mention it. Trump had the president of South Africa in the Oval Office and played him some fucking Facebook videos of
That's cool.
white Afrikaners' graves that aren't even in his country and aren't white Afrikaners' graves because Trump just reads Facebook, I guess, or Trump's people read Facebook,
right,
and just believe everything that happens. A thing that I didn't know anything about until yesterday happened, which is kind of in our remit. Adam Conover, committed an incredible self-own.
Yeah. I was actually following along with that from the beginning of it. Interesting story. Not really dystopian. I mean, it's kind of dystopian given the state of the internet today, but
yeah, and also what the company he shilled for is aiming for, I guess.
True. Quick rundown. Adam Conover is like an internet comedian podcaster. Generally pretty cool guy on the right side of most things, but he's had a couple of big missteps in the past, and this one was bigger than most. He shilled for a weird AI crypto company that
yes,
it's a device that's supposed to determine whether or not you're human or AI, and he didn't shill for it directly. He created a video where he was specifically told only endorse it if you think it's cool, and he didn't endorse it, and he was like, this is a weird thing that I was paid to talk about and make your own decision. And everybody rightfully said, well, why are you talking about it?
Yeah, it's you are like, if you signed the contract to promote this, because you are an independent contractor, I mean, in a very real sense, then you are inherently endorsing it. It's not like you're on a TV show on NBC and they play a commercial in the middle of the show. You know, that's not you.
Yeah. He mentioned that in his apology. It's not even like a mid-roll ad playing during your podcast, or I would say even it's not even like reading copy for an ad that you were given to read during your podcast, which, I mean, I watch a lot of podcasts, and that's how they are paid for if you're not like us and have patrons, basically.
Yeah. And are, like, say, even trying to be good at capitalism.
Yeah. Exactly. So, like, I get it. You've got to have sponsors that aren't good sometimes. And I think what he was trying to do, he was like, my audience will know this is just me trying to get paid. And they understand this is trash. I'm not saying it's good, so they'll get it. But, I mean, there's a limit to what people will accept.
Yeah, there's like I'm not incredibly familiar with Adam Conover. I've seen a number of his videos over the years. Like, you know, he had the TV show several years ago that I've watched. I don't know, at least several episodes of.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guardedly positive about him. It's just his programs have never super appealed to me.
Yeah. He's got a style that not everybody likes.
Yeah. But this seems on like this product ? I don't even know that I want to go that far, because a product implies something that could potentially be useful maybe at some point.
Yeah.
This product seems very much obviously fucking sketchy on its fucking face. I mean, and
like there is no function that is presented by it, and it seems like it's completely. It's called the orb. It seems like it's completely
the orb. That's
there
right.
to harvest your biometric data. Now, the sphere is the big thing in Las Vegas, and that has so much value to humanity.
Yes,
there's a big smiley face on it that you see when you're flying in. It's so cool.
Is it? All right. So it's like Faceball in 1992.
Yes,
on a
it's
Game
exactly
Boy.
like that. Yeah. Only it's like on the ground and you're flying in on an airplane and it's like looking
And you
around
can't-
and you're
you
like,
can't
that's
shoot
weird.
it.
Look what humanity could do if we wanted to.
We could fill it with U2.
You could fill it with Kamala Harris ads. Anyway, not talking about the sphere. We're talking about the orb.
Yeah. Just if somebody had said to me, like, "Oh, we're gonna try and use Adam Conover to sell this fucking biometric AI verification thingamajig," just which seems obviously like just internet trash, just VC nonsense, I would have said, "Oh, that really doesn't seem like it's in his wheelhouse. Go to Rogan."
Yeah.
You know, that doesn't seem like the type of thing he would do.
Rogan doesn't need the money.
Yeah, good point. But
go to Tim Pool. No, he's got that Russian money.
Yeah, it really seems like a spectacular fucking cell phone. Which I don't know. I watched the apology video.
Yeah.
And like he kind of admits it, but also I don't know. I would expect something like that to produce more than 2 minutes of, yeah, I fucked up. I thought, and a bunch of kind of guarded fucked up. Like, I thought the audience was smart enough to know I was just taking the money and running. Well,
he did follow up and say, but they were smart enough to know that, but they didn't let me off the hook for it. That's why I say, like, I think Adam Conover is cool 90% of the time and sketchy 10% of the time, because he says a lot of good shit about like unions and socialist stuff. I've seen him give speeches at strikes and stuff, and the dude's clearly on the right side, but I think he makes some poor decisions sometimes.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because they need to get paid.
Yeah. Hey guys, capitalism sucks.
Yeah.
And we're going to learn that from our movie this week when the hero enters exactly 1 hour into it.
That also does lead us into our sponsorship, which is the Sater Krupp Corporation.
Sater Krupp, building elevators and weapons since 1932.
And soon to be owned by a dragon.
Yes.
Anyway, that wasn't really even dystopian. That was just a thing that happened on the internet.
It was vaguely cyberpunk.
You got off light this week.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're too exhausted to be able to retain things in our long-term memory.
Yeah. I'm sure something horrible happened, and they're like, how could they not bring up the fact that that terrible thing happened? These people suck. And you're right, we do.
I am just racking my fucking brain. I'm sure a dozen absolutely horrible things happened, but they're gone now. They're just gone.
Let's talk recommendos. I want to lead in with my one and only recommendo. That recommendo is go see Napalm Death.
Oh, yeah. That was last night.
Napalm Death is a grindcore band from Manchester.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw them live last night. I also saw...
Wait, is that Manchester in the north? Or is that Manchester in New Hampshire?
I don't even know if it's Manchester, honestly. It might be a different English town.
Okay.
They said it, but they said a lot of things that were very loud. Anyway,
Sure.
they're surprisingly based band. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Apparently, like it's common knowledge when I got to looking into it. But when you're into like heavy music, it's always a crapshoot.
It really is. You try not, like, you reach a point where either you have to dedicate your life into paying attention to the politics of these bands, because there are a lot of, it's a real, crapshoot, I think, is about the correct odds for whether or not a, like, hardcore metal band is good.
Yeah. And like when I walked into the venue, I'm seeing their merch table, and their merch table is just aggressively anti-Nazi with like swastikas crossed out and a bunch of anti-fascist slogans and shit written all over. And that made me feel nice going into the show.
Yeah, I bet.
And it continued, and the crowd was into it when they would say, anti-Trump, anti-fascist stuff.
So there weren't a bunch of people from that march downtown.
No, that was happening. That was a different event that happened on the same day. Was it been a good dystopia talk? We did have a fucking Proud Boy rally here in Kansas City.
I'm afraid to correct you. It's the Patriot Front.
Whatever.
I don't know. They're fucking Nazi assholes. Who gives a shit? Fucking jerk offs and Brooks Brothers and fucking yeah,
khakis.
Yeah, fucking khakis, man. I hate the fact that a big part of my summers I'm wearing pants that are the color of khakis.
But they're not.
Like no, they're like work pants or
like
hiking
canvas.
pants. But like I don't know. I think it's just that khaki really built itself in my mind in the early 1990s as the lamest of all possible pants.
Yeah, it is. Khaki pants. But you know what? Give them a chance. You never know.
I've
Gird
had
your loins
jobs
with some cack.
I've had jobs where I've had khakis and didn't like it. They, I don't know, man. I need some more space between my asshole and my balls. Me and
You heard
Lyndon
it here,
Johnson. Me and Lyndon Johnson. Go look up that clip. Lyndon Johnson khakis.
All right, I will.
It's a recorded phone call, and it is a wild ride.
Well, anyway, to get us back on task, Napalm Death is very loud. I couldn't make out anything that was being really sang. I just put my earplugs in and let the vibrations wash over me.
Oh, smart.
And enjoyed myself. The Melvins are also really good, as is the Hard-Ons, which were a fun little punk band that opened. So
okay.
Live music is cool. Go support your artists.
Were the Melvins doing anything specific? Like in terms of playing a whole album or something? Because I know they did that with Houdini like last year.
I would like to have seen that. They played, Melvins have 800 million albums, I think.
Roughly,
Maybe that's a little under. So, and I don't know them all, but I did hear they did play Night Goat, which is probably my favorite Melvin song. So it's cool.
I think that's a good one. It's like, I like a few others better than Night Goat, but I'm not going to argue with anybody who says Night Goat is their favorite Melvin song.
Yeah, I enjoyed the Melvins a lot. Yeah, that's all I got. That's my recommendo for the week.
All right. I do not have a ton, mostly continuing things from previous weeks in terms of TV. And then I had a weirdly high number of kind of busy evenings, so I didn't watch as much as normal. But I did watch something that got brought up on the Discord a month or so ago, Near Dark, which
I don't even remember what that is.
Movie? It is Catherine Bigelow's first film.
Oh, right.
1987. It's vampires roaming, I don't know, kind of the southern plains.
Yeah.
And it features a, Bill Paxton, Lance Henriksen. It is a banger cast. Also Tim Thomerson from it is a banger.
Cherry 2000, was that what he was in?
He was in Cherry 2000 and also Nemesis.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
he made the rounds.
Yeah, so some all-stars. Boy, it is just a grimy little simple movie that works. Highly recommended. I think it is on Max currently. The vague plot outline is this guy in Oklahoma is outside a Dairy Queen, starts hitting on a girl. Turns out she's a vampire. She turns him into a vampire. And he has moral problems with drinking people's blood for sustenance. And she's got, there's a whole group of vampires that just, drive around in a fucking Winnebago from small town to small town killing.
Cool.
It's
exactly like Sinners.
Yes, exactly.
Sounds good. We love Catherine Bigelow.
It's a solid bit of business, and I hadn't seen it in years and years, and it's a really good example of somebody makes a first movie, and you're like, oh, I can see the talent involved here because this cost $10, but it's shot real well. You know.
Anything else, real quick?
I also watched the first half of something we said off mic, Pee-wee as himself.
Oh, I was recommended that at the concert last night by my brother-in-law.
Yeah, I watched the first half. It's like 2 episodes. I think they're hour 45 each, something like that. And it's the first half at least is a really good bit of business. It's a really interesting documentary because Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman, was doing and participating in this documentary like when he died 3 years ago, 2 years ago. And he is not uncombative as a subject and an interviewee.
Oh, cool.
Like it's obviously done with his permission because he's sitting there, but he's doing a lot of kind of evasive and not giving the full truth because he spent 40 years of his life trying to not be Paul Rubens publicly. So it's a really interesting balance of like, and sometimes he goes back against the guy who made the documentary, his name I can't think, and is interviewing him. Like, no, we're not going to talk about that right now. And it's not quite the most interesting version of that in documentary form that I've seen, which would be the Pigeon Tunnel, the John le Carré documentary from Apple 3 years ago, where you come out of the documentary possibly knowing less than you did going into it. But it's a really interesting and good show. Like the first episode covers right up to the end of like when Pee-wee's Big Adventure comes out.
I should watch it. I just hate documentaries.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. They put me to sleep.
Yeah.
But
well,
I love Pee-wee.
Yeah, it's real fun. I mean, and tons of fun people involved because I don't know, like fucking Elvira was a groundling when he was.
Oh,
and
sweet. What a cast that would have been.
And I mean the lady that what is her name? Lynn Stewart, who played Charlie's mom on.
Oh yeah,
she was Miss Yvonne and was in the Groundlings.
She just passed away. I think she just passed away
within the past year. I think. Yeah,
I think within the past month, maybe.
Was it that recent? Okay, I don't know. Time's busted.
Yeah.
What do you want from
Time
me?
is busted. You know who else is busted?
Who is busted?
These sneaker guys.
These sneakers. A movie a word that is never said in the movie?
No.
Possibly?
It's a strange title.
I get it. I think it conveys very well what we're going for.
Yeah. I enjoyed the picture.
I'm really glad. I was, after I watched it earlier in the week, I realized, okay, this isn't as cyberpunk-ish as I thought. There's less hacking.
There's not much hacking at all.
But boy, it is a charming fucking movie.
Yeah, it's got some, like, I don't know, defending it as cyberpunk is impossible. It's not, but
yeah,
it definitely has some technology stuff that's fun, especially by 1992 standards. And it's got some themes which mesh well with the
some of the tensions that we're used to in cyberpunk.
Yeah, there's no real dystopia or anything like that. It just takes place in the 90s.
Honestly, it seems like a fucking utopia compared to now.
Yeah, the 90s.
Yeah,
for people of our skin tone and sexual orientation were.
Yeah. I don't honestly, compared to like right now, honestly, 1992 might have been a better time for even people of other skin tones and sexual orientations in America, right?
Well, they were dying of AIDS in droves, so that's probably not.
92 was kind of the tail end of the dying from AIDS in droves, but yeah, okay, that's fair.
I mean, it's safe to say that no time has ever been good.
No. I mean, clearly everything's always been bad. Let's not be crazy here.
Maybe like 1990.
Since the invention of agriculture, everything has been downhill. But
Maybe like 96 to 99. Maybe that was the sweet spot.
yeah, could be. Yeah.
Shit. Clinton's second term. Nothing bad happened. Don't
nothing.
don't look at the news.
Yeah.
All right, we got to do this movie in a tight 1 hour. So
A tight 1 hour. Okay. So this movie is made by a director named Phil Alden Robinson. His most successful and most famous film is A Field of Dreams. You know,
classic.
a classic. I think that was his immediately previous film. He was also a writer on War Games, which is a somewhat more cyberpunk movie.
Yeah, well, that'll be covered by us at some point.
Yeah. And he's, also Phil Alden Robinson's last movie is The Sum of All Fears, the only movie with the courage to nuke Baltimore into a fucking hole in the ground.
Fuck you, Baltimore.
Yes. We open this movie with a bunch of, are they anagrams where you rearrange the letters?
I think that's right? An anagram, yeah.
Yeah. The credits start with a bunch of anagrams, including a turnip cures Elvis and stuff like that. And then the letters rearrange themselves into like Robert Redford or Phil Alden Robinson or Sneakers. And then we come in to a very early 90s blues rock song.
Yeah, we'll get used to that.
Yeah. And we see a title card that says December 1969. And then we see the City Hall of Hill Valley. And you're like, holy shit, is this Back to the Future? And then you realize, no, they just reused the set.
I didn't catch that at all, actually, but
it absolutely is. And it turns out that in this movie, this set is a college campus. So we've got a couple of guys in here. One of them is swarthy, and the other is young Robert Redfordy, like buff and blonde. And the swarthy one, the small swarthy guy, is hacking the Federal Reserve computer and redistributing some money.
Is that something that could be done in 1969?
Yep. Well, I don't know. It's not outside the realm of possibility.
I didn't think computers were that advanced.
You know, you're on 69, you're on ARPANET. I don't know what the Federal Reserve's presence was at that point. I think it's probably a stretch.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
basically 79.
Nope, definitely 1969. I double checked that when I watched it.
Just seems too early, but whatever. I'll suspend disbelief.
Yeah. So we're sitting at a fucking mainframe terminal. You know, there are fucking tape memory banks behind spinning to position. It's beautiful, fun. And we make the Republican Party donate like $25,000 to the Black Panthers. It's a
good one.
Good time. Then Nixon is going to donate to Normal, like empty out Nixon's personal checking account and donate it for legalization of marijuana. Fun shit.
The fact that they donated to the Black Panthers made me know that the movie was probably going to be genuinely pretty cool. Because I think in the early 90s, the Black Panthers still kind of had that propagandized, at least among whites, I should say, among the pop culture of white people, that, you know, they were scary.
Yeah, they were at the very least not the respectable kind.
Yeah. And so the fact that right out of the gate if they're the opposite, it seems to me like they're saying they're good guys.
Yeah. They talk about it. They're going to change the world, redistribute all this fucking wealth, et cetera, et cetera. Then they do a little thing about how we're fucking hungry. Let's get some pizza. And then Cosmo, who's the kind of little guy, basically does a little sleight of hand trick, say, okay, you pick which hand this quarter's in, you know, and whoever wins goes and gets the pizza. And then tricks Marty, the blonde guy, to go get the pizza in the fucking snow and cold.
Yeah.
He goes to get the pizza, except as he's getting in the car, the cops show up, And Cosmo gets busted. And Marty fucking takes off. And we later learn goes to Canada and establishes a new identity.
Yeah, I don't put any shade on Marty for doing that either.
No, it's not gonna like him. The cops are fucking taking Cosmo into custody, and he has a chance to get away clean, and it's not gonna like having captured both of them is not going to reduce either of their sentences.
Right. If that was you and I was captured up there in the window and I saw you down below, I would not be shouting your name. I'd be like giving you the run motion, which
yeah.
Cosmo is
kind
of a douche.
Yeah. I think we'll get to it later. About his inferiority complex.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh no, wait, we won't get to it later because we're going to find out very shortly that Marty died in prison. He's never going to be seen in the movie again.
Oh right, yeah, sorry, my bad.
Yeah. So then we cut to a fucking video screen, and Robert Redford taking a nap in the back of the most Shadowrun vehicle there is, a fucking panel van.
Yep. You ever see a panel van parked in a place where a panel van doesn't belong? And you're like, some shenanigans are going down in the back of that thing.
Yes, 1,000% of the time. And oh my God, I bet now it's even easier. All you have to do is pretend to be a closed food truck.
True. But now they're all just full of Patriot Front members.
Good point. Fuck you all.
Just big old circle jerk in the back of the van talking about Eagles. I don't know what do fucking Patriot Front people talk about.
There was a beautiful thread on the Reddit. Why didn't the cops do anything about these people? Because all the cops were busy marching.
Yeah, the cops escorted them in. It's
yeah. Okay.
Remember, during Black Lives protesters, they were posted up as snipers.
Yeah. And now they're armed escorts to protect them from the scary dark people. Okay, so
Mayor Lucas.
Robert Redford's taking a nap in the back of a panel van that's like full of fucking surveillance technology. We are breaking into a fucking bank. We get a little introduction to all the characters. There's Robert Redford, who's charming and has an amazing smile. Used to work with Paul Newman. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Then River Phoenix
famously has the Butch Cassidy Film Festival. That joke was pointless and not worth it.
Okay, that was a stretch. That was, yeah, all right. So we also meet River Phoenix, who is some sort of young fucking delinquent and just a cute fucking
just
kid.
As handsome as the day is long. We miss him.
I mean, yeah, it's like he turned in some fucking great performances. And he's super fucking charming and just an absolute just bullshit in this movie. It's kind of great.
This is a stacked ass cast, I guess.
It fucking is. Sidney Poitier bringing exactly as much dramatic weight to this light caper as he did to In the Heat of the Night.
Yeah.
Playing Kreese, an ex-CIA agent.
But capable of some really funny moments, too.
Oh, very much so. Dan Aykroyd, I think maybe giving his best non-Ghostbusters performance in film.
Yeah.
Like,
it's good.
This is exactly calibrated to Dan Aykroyd. Like, he's a fucking crazy conspiracy idiot.
Yeah. Back when those were fun personality quirks,
back when it was fun and light. Woof. And of course, we have the last member of our crew, Whistler, played by the wonderful David Strathairn.
Yeah.
Who is, I mean, as great as every other character is, the standout in this movie, in my mind. He's just fucking killing it. And like literally everybody else in the movie is way more famous than he is. Like including fucking 20-year-old River Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at this point, Strathairn's been in a handful of John Sayles movies that nobody saw. You know,
but no, never saw him.
Yeah, his biggest movie, I think at that point, was probably Eight Men Out, which is a good movie.
Yeah, it was an eight. I love 8 Men Out.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
love all
good.
baseball movies though.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you'd seen that one. It's, just kind of in that edge of maybe slightly too old. Yeah, great fucking movie. Yeah, Strathairn just kills it in this movie. And anyway, they're breaking into a bank. Here's my first note about the music.
Okay.
Okay, they're doing a robbery, and we've got this light, wistful, jaunty comedy score to it.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of this bouncy.
No, it's a comedy. It made the movie feel like a Dortmunder novel. If you know, you know, I guess.
Yeah. Good. R.I.P. Westlake. We miss you.
Yeah.
And like it's like all good caper and heist movies, things are complicated and it's useless to explain them because it doesn't fucking matter. There's fucking smoke alarm and a dumbfounded security guard and it's all great.
Yeah, I was hoping we wouldn't spend too much time on the heist because that's a good way to cut out.
Yeah, it's fun, dumb shit to watch, but it's useless to describe.
Yeah.
The only important thing about this is that Robert Redford eats shit trying to jump over a counter.
That was pretty funny. They work the jokes in this movie pretty seamlessly and realistically to where you feel like this isn't a comedy. These are just guys that are naturally charming and funny hanging out and working together.
Yeah, the thing that I came away from watching this movie with was, God, this is charming. I mean,
Yeah.
they simply don't make movies this friendly anymore. Like it's
I'm
just
sure.
it's just it seems like everybody's having a fucking good time and we're in and that works with the audience. The audience is having a good time because Robert Redford eats fucking shit because he's 60 years old trying to hop over a counter like 21-year-old River Phoenix. I mean, because Robert Redford was once upon a time River Phoenix.
Yeah, he was also hopping over counters and hopping on horses and shit. Also, you didn't. I think this was right now, but the scene when River Phoenix is blacking his face out with shoe polish, and Sidney Poitier just gives him this fucking look.
It is beautiful.
It is so funny the way he just looks at River Phoenix, and then Robert Redford sticks his head in, looks at the two of them, and goes just like, and then no words are spoken, and it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it is. Like, there is no better adjective for this movie than charming. It all just kind of clicks and works. So they do this bank robbery. It honestly doesn't fucking matter how. Everybody has their little part to play. And then we cut to the next morning where Robert Redford goes in. Oh, and the whole point of the bank robbery was to get access to a computer terminal to move money from one account to another. So we cut to the next morning where Robert Redford goes in, withdraws $100,000 from this account, then walks immediately upstairs to like the bank manager's or president's office and says, basically, so here's your money. We've found some notable security flaws, blah, blah, blah. You'll get a report in a week. And they say, great, go and see a woman for your payment. And it turns out that they're white hat, penetration testers.
Yeah. I've been
they
called
just
a penetration tester once or twice in my life. You know what I'm saying?
But I'd let that sit there for a second.
Yeah.
So then, as Redford's leaving the bank, we see Timothy Busfield, best known for 30-something.
Yeah, that's what he's from. He was also in Field of Dreams.
He's
like their attorney or whatever.
Yes.
Trying to get him to sell their house.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So we see Timothy Busfield and this other guy who is a character actor.
I just put something together. I'm sorry. Give me a second. Let me do this in my head. We can cut it out.
Yeah. Okay, where the fuck was I? Oh, yeah. So Timothy Busfield.
That was definitely worth it.
That certainly was. This is, keep this in the episode. You guys just missed a 5-minute tangent that Eric cut the fuck out because it's absolute nonsense.
Now I feel like I have to leave it in. God damn it.
God damn it. Okay, we've created a problem.
A time loop.
This is like the
editing
fucking
loop.
grandfather paradox. So, Timothy Busfield and a great character actor named Eddie Jones are in a car watching Robert Redford leave a bank. Eddie Jones has been in a million fucking things, like just usually as a fucking drunk doofus or a threatening drunk guy.
Yeah.
And he is...
Or cop.
Yeah, cop often. He is bad guy muscle in this. Oh, wow. He was in the Positively True Adventures of the Alleged Texas Cheerleader Murdering Mom. Forgotten about that. So they're watching... Redford is being observed leaving the bank.
He was in Ghost in the Shell standalone complex.
I see that and don't know how to feel about it.
Well, we'll see him again soon.
We will.
Have 1,000 hours to dedicate to watching that.
Yeah. So Redford goes back to the office. We're in the office of I don't even remember the name of I don't even remember if the company's name is ever said. Robert Redford's security company offices, which is cool looking. I mean, it just looks like a cool fucking office space. The type of thing that every fucking tech company in the world is going to be trying to get into in 15 years.
Yeah.
And everybody's there and we're like, hey, we all got $1,000 for this. Because it's pointed out that they don't make a lot of money doing this. And they like lost their secretary a while back because they couldn't pay her. And then suddenly some guys show up to meet. It's Timothy Busfield and Eddie Jones, and they want to hire him. And we have a little conference. Conference about that. Jesus fucking Christ.
It's a hard one.
Apparently.
So it's tricky.
Yeah. So they go to a conference room, explain, hey, we're with the NSA, which is it's a very surprisingly early reference to the NSA publicly existing.
Yeah.
The NSA has been in existence since like 1956 or something like that, but it wasn't listed publicly until the mid to late 80s.
By the way, a lot of initialisms being thrown around in this movie.
Oh yeah, that's true. If you're not comfortable with 3-letter agencies, I don't know, pull up Urban Dictionary? I don't know. Whatever you use for those. So, these guys work for the NSA. And they say, hey, we kind of want to hire you for a job. By the way, most companies like this are made up of former law enforcement professionals, but we have these very fat files on every one of your employees and how they are all criminals. And we know all their secrets. Yeah, they are shadow runners. And the only person's history that they don't address in this little bit is Marty's. And he's like, sorry guys, we don't work for the government. I sorry, it's just not our shit. And they say, okay, well, if you have another thought about it, here's our number and address, and hand him an envelope. He opens it up and it turns out that it is the wanted poster from 1969 when he was, from the prologue of the film.
Yeah, it's when he was a college hacker. It's also when I got my first real 6-string.
It's also Another Year with Nothing to Do. Yeah,
Sure.
that's right.
A lot of shit happened that year.
Iggy and the Stooges. Come on. So, so he's like, duh. Nobody knows about this because he used to be Martin Bryce. He's now Martin Bishop. So Robert Redford drives a very cool Carmen Ghia down to their offices.
It is cool.
Fucking Carmen Ghia convertible, man. That's a beautiful fucking body. Like, if somebody would make an electric car with a Carmen Ghia body,
Wouldn't that be fucking cool if somebody made like a cool looking electric car instead of all these,
as opposed to a
gross
stretch
looking ones?
dumpster.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really would. So he drives this cool carbon convertible to the NSA offices. Meets a homeless guy out front. Nice little time capsule. This guy says, "Help! Help! The government's taking my home." And there are these posters of George Bush on the wall, and
Senior.
Senior. And Bryce hands him some money and points at the posters and says, "Talk to him." Which, boy,
True.
remember when the government could at least put up a front of like respectability?
Yeah. Also, speaking of 3-letter agencies,
Yeah,
wasn't he? No, we don't need to talk about that.
yeah.
We're
So
already on enough watch lists.
yeah, we might be. So he goes into the NSA office. It's very charming and fun. He says, like, I could have been in the NSA, but then I found out my parents were married.
It's a weird burn, like a divorced kid burn. Like, what the fuck?
I think it's just calling them bastards. But yeah,
I get it, but I took it personally.
okay.
Not
I
really.
didn't, but yeah, okay. So NSA lays out the job. The job is called C-Tech Astronomy. What's that mean? Don't worry about it. It's definitely not going to come up later.
Something about semen.
Donald Logue, in his very first film performance.
Yeah, good old Donald Logue, pre-MTV Taxi Driver guy. Or was it post?
I think this was after that.
Huh. Maybe right around it.
Like right around the same time. But yeah, this is his first movie. He is a Russian mathematician. He just got a big grant from Russia to build a secret fucking box. The NSA wants this box. They don't know what's in it. They don't know what it is. And they will pay Martin and his team $175,000 fucking dollars.
It's like 400,000 in 92 money, maybe more. I don't know.
That just hearing that number a couple of times over the course of this movie really hammered home, like, man, how innocent we were.
Yeah.
Like 175K is clearly a great fucking score for these guys.
Yeah.
Like,
They have to split 5 ways
Five
after paying
ways?
expenses to actually pull it off.
yeah. They'll also clean up Robert Redford's record. And also, we just have a little mention of when Cosmo, his buddy, died in prison. Again, you can ignore that. It's not important to the film. So we go back to the offices, and very elegantly, we cut over the entire conversation where Redford explains the fact that his name is not Martin Bishop and his past and, changing his identity, et cetera, to the crew. Because that would be fucking boring having just heard part of it and being able to infer the rest of it. So it's a pretty elegant bit of business there. And it basically says, like, look, they'll clean my record, give us $175K. I'm not going to drag you guys into this. So I want all of your enthusiastic consent to do this job.
And by the way, if you don't, I'm going to be arrested and my life will be ruined. But still.
Yeah. And at which point, David Strathairn says, I can't speak for the other guys, but I'm in it for the money. I don't care if you go to jail.
Yeah.
And everybody kind of says, yeah, okay, we're in. Fine. This isn't our shit, but okay. Turns out Donald Logue's giving a public lecture the next day, and Martin Bishop has decided, I'm going to take Liz to it. Liz being never mentioned before in the film, his on again, off again, I guess, ex-girlfriend. Because she is a fancy lady who teaches gifted children. And, kind of an entree into smart person scene. And this is played by Mary McDonnell, who was, I feel, super famous in the late 80s, early 90s, between like Field of Dreams. Like she's had she's still working today.
She was Field of Dreams. She was Dances with Wolves.
No, Dances with Wolves. Sorry. That was my bad.
Another Costner joint.
Yeah. Dances with Wolves. She was president, I can't remember her last name, on Battlestar Galactica reboot.
Her most recent, well, not most recent, but one of her most recent things was she was in Fall of the House of Usher, and she was fantastic in it.
Yes, she was. You're right. Yeah, she's been working consistently since like 1982 or something. And just in my mind occupies the space of she is a woman of the early 1990s and late 80s.
Yeah.
Like just her vibe.
And her haircut is certainly
it is
enforcing that.
Yeah, it certainly is.
It's a very 1992 businesswoman haircut.
Yeah, she gives him some shit when he goes to ask her to go with him. Like, I have a new group of gifted children now, and I like that they're under 30 because he's with all these gifted children in his crew. Good time. We're not getting back together. Okie doke. So he also explains that, the government found out, my secret past, which she already knew about, whatever. And it's like, okay. So we go to the lecture. It's, like I said, Donald Logue's first movie role. He's very skinny. He's wearing a fucking turtleneck. It's off-putting. And he's talking about crypto. This motherfucker owns so many apes, you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, he would definitely be a crypto guy in modern times, for sure.
Remember apes?
I do. I remember apes.
Yeah.
My apes have been stolen.
Oh, man. And it's what's really funny about this, knowing Donald Logue's career for the, past 35 years. This part is the opposite of almost everything else I can think of Donald Logue playing.
Yeah.
Like, this is a very intellectual, like, book smart Russian mathematician when, I don't know, 99% of the time when you hire Donald Logue, you're looking for a street smart wise ass.
Grungy guy, yeah.
Yeah.
And that new show Duster I've been meaning to check out.
Yes, the first 2 episodes are out. I've watched them. They are fun. Lots of great cars.
I need to watch it. I was thinking about it.
Yeah, tons of great cars. The opening credits are my favorite since either Pachinko or Peacemaker.
Oh, high praise.
It's fucking Hot Wheels, man. It's great. So, rolling ahead. Basically, we find out that, Donald Logue's talking about cryptography. And this is going to be really important. Also we meet this guy named Greg, or Grigory. He's a Russian, now diplomat, implied former KGB. He is extremely charming and fun.
Fun character. I liked him a lot.
Yeah, and he invites Martin and Liz to go see a string quartet in a couple of nights.
He seems like he's enjoying capitalism in this time when we were all thought we were enjoying capitalism.
Yeah, he makes a bunch of comments throughout his time in the movie where he's like, I mean, things aren't what they were, but boy, it's much more relaxing to be able to like be in this country and go out in public.
Yeah.
Like, I can go see a string quartet or a lecture and not have to do a whole bunch of double reverse spy bullshit to lose FBI agents. It's great.
He's got an attractive young girlfriend. He's just smoking in public. This is later, but just living the dream.
He really is.
The early 90s dream, I should say.
Yeah, this is kind of the virtual light dream.
Yeah.
Then we cut to, I assume, the next night or something. Maybe that day. Doesn't matter. We're back in the panel van. We're on a fucking elevated garage next to Donald Logue's office. They're videotaping and like trying to observe everything he does. They're going to try and like pick out his computer password, etc. He comes into his office, and Carl, the River Phoenix character, is describing all his actions and layout to Whistler. Because remember, actually, did I mention Whistler's blind?
No, you didn't. You didn't.
Okay. So David Strathairn, Whistler, is blind.
Yeah.
It's
an important part of the character.
Yeah, understandably. He's a blind guy. He doesn't see anything. And he was like, the reason he was a criminal is because he's a big phone freak.
He's a freaker.
Yeah.
We've talked about freaking on this show before, but it was all the rage in the early 90s, late 80s.
Yeah. Good times. Everything
before the internet, the phone was like this.
Well, the phone was the internet.
Well, yeah, it was, but it was like this magical device that, I don't know. It occupied that same mythological space that the internet would take up.
Look, the very short version of it is that prior to, 95-ish, kind of the World Wide Web, the internet was extremely dislocated. You would have BBSs all over the place. They would be only occasionally really in contact with one another, but every BBS had its own little things and quirks and users and whatever. So you would need to use a modem where you put your phone on a cradle to make long-distance phone calls to these distant... Okay, now I have to go back and explain long-distance phone calls.
People understand.
Yeah.
We got to move on.
To these distant BBSs, and the ability to get free long-distance phone calls was very important.
Oh, yes. So much money was spent on phone calls back in the day.
It was, the ability to get free long distance was a huge backbone of the existence of computer people.
The youths don't understand how hard it was. I mean, how expensive it was to talk to my grandma 3 hours away, let alone somebody across the world, which now we go on Discord and talk to hundreds of them every day.
Yeah, it was, in retrospect, it is truly fucking wild. Like, having to collect phone calls.
Yeah.
Every Sunday night I have a scheduled phone call where my dad's going to call because I can't call him because that would rack up like $20 of phone bill,
Yeah.
Phone time was incredibly expensive prior to 20 years ago now.
I can still hear in my head the way at the end of a conversation my grandma would say, well, this is costing, so I'll let you go. Even long after it stopped costing. But,
it was a reflex of 50 years.
Yeah. Anyway.
So, Donald Logue's in his office, and then a Czech lady shows up, and they fuck.
Yeah. She's famous, too. She's been in a lot of shit.
Yeah, and there's a fun little scramble because they're videotaping and stuff. There's a fun scramble to watch them fuck between Marty, Kreese, and Carl. Because Carl is a 19-year-old pervert.
Oh, should be pointing out Lee Garlington, the lady who's getting the bone down, was also in Field of Dreams. And The Sum of All Fears.
Yes, okay.
And Dead to Me, which was a fun show.
That was a fun show. Then we cut to the next day and we're like, where the fuck is this black box he's supposed to be working on? Nobody knows. Oh, turns out Whistler's got the answer because he got the description of the layout from Carl. And then they also hear Janek, which is Logue's character, talk about his answering service. And if he's got an answering service, hey, anybody remember those? No, of course you don't. They were what you had before answering machines, but there's also an answering machine on his desk. So the black box is hiding in the answering machine.
Yeah, they go in raring like on what is essentially a hunch, but Whistler's hunches are ironclad in every instance in this film.
Solid bit. Yeah. So then we go to breaking into his office. We mic up Robert Redford. Dan Aykroyd is Dan Aykroyding. He's talking about how this is the same kind of microphones they use when they fake the fucking moon landing.
Yeah.
And assume any scene where Dan Aykroyd is present, he is talking about, I don't know, selling cow lips to aliens or something.
Yeah, and Sidney Poitier is annoyed with him for it.
Annoyed and frustrated, yeah.
He's talks about cattle mutilations a lot, which is a lot of fun.
That was a big part of conspiracy theories in the early 1990s, and it's gone now, really.
Yeah, there was a recent Behind the Bastards that mentioned it a little bit.
Oh. So we're going to do some simple social engineering to get into the office. Like River Phoenix is doing like harassing a security guard, and Robert Redford's like, "Come on, let me the fuck in. I got to go take this to Cake to a party, whatever." Then we get to Logue's office. Turns out, oh shit, there's an electronic keypad on the door. We hadn't prepared for that. Must be just freshly installed. Can we get through it?
Here, Josh. Let me tell you. I'll call you and tell you off mic, and then you can react the way Robert Redford reacted.
Oh, okay. Like that. All right. Boot. Kicks the door in. It's beautiful, honestly. Why don't they make this movie anymore?
I think they did, and it was called Avengers Endgame.
Oh, that's sad. So he gets in the office, swaps out the answering machine for a double with an empty box, and then the check lady walks in. And with the help of the gang back in the van over his earwig, Redford spins some just absolute fucking bullshit. And it's, again, just a really fun, nice sequence. Like, I'm a PI working for Janek's wife. And no, you can't confront him because that's just what she'd want. We're just pawns in her game. She's...
and give him head whenever he wants.
And yeah, that's... They're feeding him lines over the earwig, and Whistler says, and of course, give him head whenever he wants. And Redford carries through and give him be a beacon for him. It's beautiful and dumb. So anyway, he convinces her to not tell Janek that she saw him in the office, or that she knows about Janek's secret wife, which he doesn't have as far as we know, whatever. And that's it. The heist movie's over. They won. Like, they got this black box. NSA can be off their backs.
Well, let's have a quick denouement of them partying.
Yeah, so we have a party at the office, which is exactly like The Conversation.
I haven't seen The Conversation in 30 years, but I'll believe you.
Watching this and realizing... like, oh, this party is like exactly like the holiday party in The Conversation, made me think, do I just like movies about surveillance?
Oh shit, maybe
I do.
Yeah,
because like this, The Conversation, Enemy of the State, what was that German movie? The Lives of Others. Like, is it just that I really like surveillance movies?
Are you a dirty? Is it the voyeur who watches? It's the exhibitionist who likes to be watched. You're a guy who likes to watch. You are that meme of the sicko at the window.
Yes. Yes. All right. So we're having the party at the office. We're right at the very end of that mid to late 80s, like oldies trend, where like every movie needed to have some 60s like soul Motown oldies in it.
Okay.
Which really kicked off with The Big Chill, but then just became a whole, I don't know, genre unto itself. And people are dancing and having fun and fucking playing Scrabble, and Whistler's dicking with this fucking box they stole from
Whistler's dicking. I don't know. I like that. That's funny. Sorry, I'm very tired.
That's okay.
Maybe a little punchy.
Yeah, well, your garage almost caught fire, so
it did.
Fair enough. So we're having a fun time. Like, oh, what are you guys going to do with your share of the money? Which, by the way, is $35,000 a piece. So obviously they're super rich for the rest of their lives.
Dude, like, oh my God. I'm not turning down $35,000, but it's not getting me through the year.
I know. The way they are acting is the way I would act if I got a $500,000 windfall.
Exactly.
Like, let's see.
I'm going to Europe and I'm buying a Winnebago. $35,000 ain't buying you a Winnebago. It ain't buying you a Winnebago in the 90s.
Yeah.
Shitty one, maybe.
Kreese and his wife want to go to Europe and Tahiti. Dan Aykroyd has never had a cool car before. So he wants to get a really nice Winnebago with a big
coolest
kitchen
of
and a
cars.
waterbed. Yeah, burgundy interior. Carl really wants to get a girl, like Liz. Aw.
Oh, he's a sweetheart.
Yeah, and Whistler wants, you guessed it, peace on earth, goodwill towards men and women.
Which is something you can buy with $35,000.
Yeah. So Whistler starts digging with his black box. He's wearing, for the only time in the movie, he's wearing these, I don't know, I guess stereotypical like 80s, 90s blind person glasses.
Yeah, like Ray Charles shades, yeah.
Yeah, or, you know.
No, not Ray Charles. He kind of wore Wayfarers, didn't he?
Yeah, like blue blockers. You know, big plastic fucking things that cover like more than your entire fucking eye socket.
Yeah.
So he's digging with this black box and like, ooh, find some interesting shit in there. Huh, what's going on with that? And right at the same time, Robert Redford has a realization. He's like, C-Tech, that didn't stand for anything. What if we use the Scrabble tiles to do anagrams about it? Eh?
He completely wipes a heated Scrabble game. What a bastard. At least finish.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
I was on a heater.
Yeah. This is after arguing about whether or not scrunchy is a word, which it
is.
100% was.
It definitely was.
Yeah. And we go through a bunch of possible rearrangements of C-Tech astronomy, including Monterey's Coast, My Socrates Note, Cootie's Rat Semen,
It's a good one.
which is just a funny thing to have in a PG-13 big budget movie.
Yeah. Even though they spell it out and then they look at each other and they're like, shake their heads and wipe it.
Well,
They
we're
don't
not
speak it
saying
out
those
loud.
words. Yeah. And then we come up with too many secrets.
OMG.
Which is right when Whistler figures out how the box works. It decodes everything. Air traffic control, Federal Reserve, power grid controls, and it all looks super cool reflected on his blind person glasses.
Yeah.
I remember that shot very specifically from the trailer, like the code scrolling up his glasses.
Yeah.
And that's probably the point at which I thought, is this a Cyberpunk movie? Because
yeah.
in the trailer, it kind of looks like he has little monitors on his glasses.
Yeah. I can see that. It does. That one specific moment looks pretty Cyberpunk.
Yeah. So it turns out that, yeah, it's a code breaker. No, it's the code breaker. It can decode anything, pretty much. And it is at this point that Kreese is like, okay, gets a gun out and says, okay, everybody stays here all night. We're going to get this off our fucking hands. Every government in the world would kill for this box. We are not fucking safe. We've got the handoff at 9 a.m., so we're all going to just crash here and relax and be under control until that happens.
Smart.
Then, yeah, and it's one of those things. It's like a thing you hire Sidney Poitier for.
Yeah.
He's very charming in we want to go to Europe and like go to Tahiti and all this shit and like he's having fun. And then on a fucking dime, he goes over to his desk, pulls out a fucking shoulder holster rig, and is immediately in serious business mode. Like, perfect. No notes.
Yeah.
So, then next morning, we're going to go do the handoff. We take the Carmen Ghia. It's beautiful. We park it on a street next to a cafe, San Francisco. Which is
and
where
in front of
and in front of a 1980 Toyota Corolla two-door.
I knew you were going to bring it up.
How could I not? Which was my car in high school.
And shortly after.
Yeah, a lot of good times. A lot of good times in a 1980 Toyota Corolla.
Yeah.
I had to watch that scene about 5 times because I kept getting drawn into the car parked on the street behind it. So Redford goes to meet the NSA guys. He's got the box and one of those little aluminum briefcase things. Sidney Poitier stays with the car, and then Poitier notices in the back seat of the car a newspaper article that says Janek, Donald Logue, is dead in apparent murder arson. Da-da. So Redford sets the box down. Everything's going great. He's about to get his check. Poitier is like, "Hey, no, come here. Your mother's on the phone," because this Carmen Gia has a car phone. Why
Yeah,
wouldn't
which is pretty dope.
it? Yeah, I don't know. I'd really like a Carmen Gia.
I'm trying to think when we had our first car phone, because my stepdad was a law enforcement officer, and he had to have one with him like frequently. I feel like it was about 90. It was probably about 92. We started carrying a car phone around with us.
Yeah,
So, checks out.
yeah.
Man.
My uncle had one for a little while in his Plymouth Laser.
Nice.
Super cool car. It talked at you. The windshield wiper fluid sensor was dead, so it would regularly remind you that the windshield wiper fluid was low while you were driving down the road.
I think I've been in one of those. But did it have like a shit ton of buttons?
Oh yeah, it was
around the radio and stuff.
Yeah, it was one of those. Hey, we're in the future. It's the late 1980s. We are the future cars.
Let's put 10,000 silver buttons on the console.
Yeah, they're actually fairly cool cars. I mean, but yeah, they're very much of the era.
I love that aesthetic, and I wish we could bring it back.
Your passenger door is ajar.
Yeah,
passenger door is ajar. Just would not shut up under any circumstances. So Poitier gets him back to the car and says, "We got to get the fuck out of here. They fucking Donald Logue's dead," and they fucking run like hell because they realize these guys probably killed Donald Logue.
Yeah, almost certainly.
They're just about to pull a gun out of their briefcase and kill Robert Redford.
Yeah.
So they take off. They're going to check who these guys are. They go back to the NSA office that Redford met him in. Turns out that the building is now demolished and has been officially vacant for a month. It used to be a federal building, but not anymore. And we don't know what the fuck is going on. So the movie's over, right?
Yep.
Pretty much.
Quote,
we go back.
We'll get out of here. Check out our Patreon. No, it's not over.
We go back to the office. We research what happened. Turns out, after Poitier makes a couple of phone calls, that Janix grant to build the black box wasn't from Russia. It was, in fact, from the from the NSA. Uh-oh.
Hoopsie.
Yeah, seems bad. And Redford's like, "So those guys weren't from the government?" And Poitier says, "They were probably from a government, but it wasn't ours."
Yeah. Turns out not true, though.
Yeah. So we're trying to figure out what happened, and Martin decides, I'm going to go to the string quartet thing that Greg invited me to and see what the fucking Russians know.
Talk to my Russian bro.
Yeah, he goes to the string quartet, kidnaps Greg, just yanks him out of
Greg, by the way, sitting about 4 feet from the string quartet, just smoking up a storm, blasting this room with secondhand smoke. It's good days, good times.
Yeah.
Nothing bad happens.
No. So he kidnaps Greg. He kidnaps Grigori. They go for a ride because Grigori says, "We can't do this in this building. We're going to be observed." And Redford explains what's happened. Grigori says, "Yeah, we would love to get our hands on that box, but we couldn't figure out a way to do it. And anyway, it won't work for our codes. Those would just work for American codes. It couldn't be used against us, really."
Which should put a little question mark in your brain.
Yes, it should. So they go for a drive, and Greg is showing Redford these photo books of people that the Russians have tried to recruit over the years, because Greg was, again, ex-KGB.
Mm-hmm.
And Redford identifies Eddie Jones as, I don't remember what the name was, Buddy DeVries.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. who was a real fucking mess. He used to work for the NSA, hasn't anymore. And wait, Greg finds some information and says,
Gives me real Pete Bondurant vibes, by the way.
Yeah, I think that's very fair.
I just thought of that, but it's kind of true.
I think you're absolutely right. Just kind of bouncer. He's just kind of a dirty guy who will do what needs to be done. Yeah. And then they're in this nice limo with a driver, and Grigori says, I can offer you the protection by government if you'd like to request it, because this car is an extension of the embassy. We're technically on government grounds right now. And then they get pulled over by the FBI, and Greg's like, your FBI is so fucking annoying. They still harass me after all these years. The FBI pulling him over, pulls Redford out of the car, finds the gun. He refuses
the asylum.
Yeah, he refuses the asylum because obviously that would be crazy. Pulls Redford out of the car, finds the gun in his pocket that he used to kidnap Greg, and then shoots fucking Greg in the head, and then kills the driver. And oh shit, it's Buddy, Eddie Jones, who clubs him in the face with a pistol and stuffs him in his trunk.
Yeah. Doesn't club him quite good enough to get him to his destination. So next scene, when the trunk opens up, he clubs him in the face again. Good old head trauma.
That's at the destination.
Oh, so to get him up into the...
Yeah. So Redford spends a while in the trunk of a car. We're driving around, and we end up at a place. It has the most uncomfortable looking chairs you've ever seen in your fucking life.
Yeah.
He's in this weird fucking room. It's all very late 1980s, early 1990s tech looking.
Very much so, yeah.
It's beautiful in a very disgusting way.
Thankfully, dropped C.
I'm sure it's what Apple offices looked like in 1989.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Probably the same fucking art on the walls and all sorts of shit. And this is the point at which the hero of the movie enters. It's been an hour. Ben Kingsley walks in. Turns out it's Cosmo, who didn't die in prison.
What? Josh, I was convinced he died in prison.
Yeah, they definitely didn't mention it enough to make me question it. Turns out, while he was in prison, he helped out some nice family men, make some free phone calls, and now works for them. At least in his day job. He does all their computer work and financials and stuff like that, helped them reorg their business. And it turns out this whole thing is to try and get the black box, because if the FBI or the NSA gets a hold of the black box, they'll be able to read and decode the mafia's email. Lotus 123?
I guess.
Mavis Beacon teaches typing? I'm trying to think of late 80s programs that you would use.
I don't know. BC's Quest for Tires. That's what I was playing back then.
Yeah. Sounds right. Anyway. Oregon Trail. And also, if Ben Kingsley has this black box, he can then do things that affect the United States government.
Oh, because he's still got that fire in his belly.
He has
the world.
Yeah, he does, which is why I say he is the hero. Basically it. Okay. And also in this scene, they go into a room as they're talking, housing an honest to God Cray X1 supercomputer, which is just the coolest shit in the world. I mean, in 1989, it was peak computing. Like beyond anything any normal human had access to. It's a real good time. And Cosmo basically explains remember, money's fake. And with this box, I can crush the system. I could destroy banks, small countries, stock market. I can take the whole thing out. And he says, what's wrong with this country, Marty? Money. You taught me that. Evil defense contractors had it. Noble causes did not. Politicians are bought and sold like so much chattel. Our problems multiply: pollution, crime, drugs, poverty, disease, hunger, despair. We throw gobs of money at them. The problems always get worse. Why is that? Because money's most powerful ability is to allow bad people to continue doing bad things at the expense of those who don't have it. So he wants to, quote, destroy all records of ownership. Think of it, Marty. No more rich people, no more poor people. Isn't that what we wanted? Everybody's the same. And Robert Redford says, you're crazy. Okay. And I'm like, and it's at this point where I'm like, okay, so I'm switching sides in this movie.
I mean,
right?
it's at least worth a try.
I think it's worth consideration more than the 3 seconds that Redford gives it.
Yeah. Also, let's weigh positives and negatives. Who are you going to give the box to?
Yes.
Their goals are worse than what his appear to be.
Yeah. So Cosmo's like, I mean, okay, that's fine. If you're not going to be on my side, that's okay. Then hacks into the FBI, hangs the Martin Bryce information, Redford's old name, onto his current FBI files. Says, well, I mean, probably right now they're going to scan fingerprints from the gun that killed Greg. And that is going to be directly linked to your, 1969 crimes. And you're in the frame for fucking Greg's murder. Good luck. And then he gets knocked the fuck out again.
Dumped in front of our once and future greatest prison in the world.
Yes, Alcatraz.
You see it clearly in the background. It's a beautiful shot, actually.
Welcome to the Rock.
Trump probably saw this movie and is like, oh, we got to get that back.
Yeah. I watched that a couple of weeks ago. Solid bit of business.
The Rock, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
just wrong.
Yeah, it's, exactly
probably as cyberpunk as this.
There isn't any hacking in that.
Damn.
I mean, it's
Nicolas Cage is hacking up his lines.
It's roughly as Shadowrun as this.
Yeah. Anyway.
So Redford walks to Liz's. This is the new base. She has already learned that Greg is dead. She called Robert Redford's number. Somebody else answered. She didn't recognize the voice. And then we get the gang all fucking back together. All over at Liz's apartment. Kreese is making arguments to turn themselves in because they're fucked anyway. And they kind of go, okay, let's make a phone call and see if we can figure this out. They fill the apartment with tons of shit to make an untraceable phone call to the NSA.
It's fun.
And like do voice stress and analysis. Yeah. It's a real fun fucking sequence. I mean, the type of thing that you simply don't have anymore.
Right. They reroute the call through satellites in other countries.
Yeah, through like 9 countries and 2 satellites. And you're watching it. You're watching it on a computer monitor, like beep, beep, beep. It's fucking great. And we hear a voice from Field of Dreams on the other end of the phone.
Star Wars. Pick your poison.
Pick your poison.
Darth Vader answers the phone.
Everything is going fucking great in the phone call until Marty asks if his protection can be guaranteed, even if he doesn't have the box right now. And the voice on the other end of the phone says, yeah. And then, nope, turns out voice stress says he's fucking lying. Hang up.
It's a great moment because they're like running out of time on the trace and he's lying and everybody's yelling. And yeah, it's excellent scene.
Yeah. It's what film is fucking good at.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bunch of little things all knitted together to make one big stress. So they can't turn themselves in. They don't have the fucking box. They got to get the box to make a real fucking deal. So how do we do that? Well, number one, we need to figure out where the fucking box is. And then there is another incredible sequence of Martin having been in the trunk of a car for this ride, explaining and them trying to decode the sounds he heard and where he was taken.
It's fun. He's also got incredible recall for a guy that was bashed in the head prior to taking this car ride. But
yeah. It's a real good fucking bit of business. Fucking Strathern is killing it. A thing that has lived in my head since I saw this movie in the theater in 1992 is the cocktail party bit.
Turns out to be a pond full of geese.
Yeah, bunch of geese on the shore of a pond. And then the car drove through a cocktail party. Huh. And
The Whistler gives him honorary blind person status.
Yes, he does. And we get to the end of the road, and it turns out it's this corporation called Playtronics. They set up some surveillance, video recorders, stuff like that. They're trying to figure out where the office, what offices and what things are located where. We've got like high-end mics pointed at it.
As far as like Shadowrun heist movie stuff goes, this does a really great job of like showing an entire run from legwork down to the action, including things going wrong. It really is a good. I need to put it in the Discord movies giving Shadowrun thread.
I mean, there's nowhere near enough blood and zero explosions, but yes,
yeah,
yes, we end up with,
and once again, stick some elf ears on David Strathairn. Come on,
that would be fine. I would be happy with that. So we figure out, okay, here's this guy who works in the office right next door to the office that Cosmo has, which is where they're sure the box is going to be. And it turns out it's Stephen Tobolowsky.
Good old Stephen Tobolowsky.
Good old fucking Tobo.
Ned Ryerson?
Yes, Ned Ryerson, which is that this year? 92?
Might be. It's right around here.
Yeah.
Tobolowsky was working in the 90s.
This was an early, this was right when he was really kicking off, because he'd been in Mississippi Burning a couple of years before.
I was going to say, I'd look him up on IMDb, but I would break the scroll wheel on my mouse getting down to 1992.
Shit. Yeah, you really fucking would. So it's Stephen Tobolowsky. They identify him by his, they get his identity from his license plate, which is 180 IQ.
He's great in this, by the way. He's great in everything.
It turns out he is the most boring man in America, or maybe is the most boring person in the world, something like that.
Yeah, they go through his trash. His trash is folded and put away.
Yeah, it's truly nightmarish. So they figure out what's our fucking in. They've also figured out some of the security systems, which involves they need a fucking identity card, like a magnetic key card, a voice print, and then slightly later we'll find out there are motion sensors in the office. So either Robert Redford, or the person who breaks into the office, has to be wrapped in polyethylene to not exude body heat, or
suffocate to death.
And suffocate to death. Or they have to jack the room temperature up to body temp, and has to move at 2 inches a second.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Which sets up a really interesting little bit at the end.
I should also point out, when they were scouting out this place, and earlier in the film as well, they did a particular cyberpunk trope where they got a camera picture of something and had to zoom in and enhance, and they actually say enhance.
Aykroyd very specifically says, okay, enhance.
That puts it closer to cyberpunk than a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
Thanks, Blade Runner, for the mini gifts you've given us.
Thank you. Oh, it's gonna give some more to us later. Anyway, in Tobolowsky's trash, they find a letter from a computer fucking dating site, and that's their goddamn in.
Our boy's an early adopter. What can we say?
Yeah.
Most common way to date now, but in 92.
That was fucking bleeding edge.
Yeah.
We go through a bit about how, what if we hired that woman, blah, 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 whatever.
We know who's going to do it.
It's obviously going to be fucking Liz. I mean, I don't know why they bought. That's honestly, other than the excuse to get Mary McDonald to say anal,
maybe
there is no reason to have this bit. because obviously she is going to be going on the blind computer date with him.
Although I want to see River Phoenix's friend who's, quote, buff.
Yeah. So she needs to go on a blind date with him and get him to say all of the words, my voice, hi, my name is Werner Brandes. My voice is my passport. Verify me. So she goes and does this date. It is a terrible date, like just a nightmare.
Though, combination dim sum
bar and
karaoke bar, I want to go to there.
Yeah, I think it would be a great date if Stephen Tobolowsky was not on it.
Yeah, like that would be some fun first date shit or 10th date shit. Anyway, I don't know. I would go there just to hang out.
Yeah, I mean, fucking Japanese guy singing Bad Leroy Brown? Sure, why not? It's great.
I'm fucking starving, by the way.
Got any dim sum back there?
I don't. If I did, I wouldn't for long. There's no good dim sum places in KC anymore.
Yeah.
COVID killed them, man.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of losses.
Yeah, so many.
So,
democracy being one of them.
We do this. Yeah. God damn it. I'm trying to keep it light. This is a fun caper.
I'm sorry.
So we do this date. It's full of fun little gags like Liz saying, you know what I think the most erotic word is? Passport. And Stephen Tobolowsky going, passport.
She's doing great. It's a lot like the femme fatale scene from last week's film, Captain Laserhawk, where it's not really her area of expertise, but she's giving it her all.
She's doing it. And it's apparently one of the things which years ago, Stephen Tobolowsky had a podcast, which I don't know if he still does it anymore. But he said in multiple interviews, and other people as well have said, he was told by the director, like, go in, be obnoxious. You know, we need to get these points across, but just kind of suck. Be the lamest guy you can imagine.
Well, it opens up with her meeting him, and he's like, "Are you ready for the dim sum bar?" And she's like, "No, I'd like to talk." It's like, "Okay, I'll be right back."
Okay, back in a sec. Yeah, and he said it was one of the funnest filming experiences of his life.
That's good. I'm glad he had fun. It looked like he was.
Yeah, and apparently, just his whole part in this was, we need to get these plot beats down, but just riff and
also that monkey cage. That monkey cage bit he does in a
nightmarish.
Sounds like something that was off the cuff. It sounds like something he read in a magazine and just went with.
Yeah. It's a great sequence of a terrible occurrence.
Yeah.
Then we cut to the next day, and we're breaking into fucking Playtronics. River Phoenix is disguised as a gardener. He climbs through the fucking ceiling, goes to fuck with the thermostat in the maintenance room.
Drop ceiling's super strong in this building.
Yeah. Liz is at dinner with Tobolowsky, and stealing his ID card and passing it off to Redford out of a window. Redford walks into the building with Tobolowsky's ID, uses the voice recorder that Liz had been using the night before to get all those words. And
cut it together.
Yeah, cut it all together.
The old school way you had to do it, cutting tape.
Yeah, cool times. I used to do that. Anyway, Mother, Crease, and Whistler are in the van across the parking lot watching the security feeds because Redford plugged a little thing in. Redford gets into Tobolowsky's office, crawls up into the ceiling, crosses over into Cosmo's office. Once the air temperature is at 98.6 degrees, he drops down. And then, it is so funny to watch this in comparison to how most movies have worked forever. What should be the climax of a movie is, people running and fighting and, I don't know, jumping and shit like that. The next 15 minutes of the movie are just occasionally intercut with Robert Redford walking very slowly. It is hilarious. Just
And
considering
sweating
that,
because it's so fucking hot in the room.
yeah, it is hilarious considering this is the climax of the film. This is the final bit. It's an elderly man moving very intentionally slow.
He's doing great too. Very smooth. I feel like I would be like more herky jerky.
So we cut back to Liz's date with Tobo. It's all going great. He demonstrates this robot dog he's been working on with a voice rec chip. It knocks over her purse while she goes to make a phone call. He picks up her purse and is putting it back and notices that Liz's name is Liz and not Doris, as she's introduced herself to him.
Bad luck.
Yeah, and then he apparently notices his ID card is gone because he gets suspicious. So they're going to go for a drive. They go to Playtronics. Bum, bum, bum. Martin gets the box. Da, da, da. He's dripping fucking sweat.
90.6 is hot.
It is way too hot to be inside. Yeah, it's no fucking good. I would hate to be in that room. So Tobolowsky brings Liz to security, and she manages to convince the security guys that he's acting crazy. Like, yeah, I gave a fake name. What the fuck do you want? He's acting fucking nuts. I didn't steal his ID card. What the hell?
She's doing serious fake face work in this caper and pulling it off except for just a couple missteps. Leaving her purse was a misstep, and then what she says at the end to get busted.
Yeah, she's rolling well, and she's got the skill. I mean,
she does a little glitch at the end though.
Yeah, there's one natural one, but so she pretty much entirely manages to convince them, the security guys, including Busfield, Eddie Jones, and Ben Kingsley, that Tobolowsky is crazy, and this is just some weird comedy of errors, et cetera, because they find the fucking ID badge in his office. And like, oh, so he just forgot it and got fucking paranoid. Sure, she used a fake name, whatever. And then they're walking out and they say, we'll call you a cab. And she says, well, this is the last time I go on a computer date. And then, arguably the fakest single thing about this movie, Ben Kingsley is like, a computer would never match these two people. When in fact, over the past 30 years, we've all learned that computers are very stupid and will do the dumbest shit if you let them.
Yeah.
This was a borderline acceptable view in 1992. But nowadays, this could not be a plot point. Well, of course a computer matched them. It's insane.
Right.
It got caught up on, I don't know, Kill the Boar or something. Obviously. And then Ben Kingsley like, wait, this is fucking bullshit. Goes to his office, says, why is it so fucking hot in here? Because it's almost 100 degrees. And finds that his little case that contained the box is now empty. Bum, bum, bum.
Or no.
He screams Marty. Security gets alerted. Fucking floodlights. Guys running around with fucking shotguns. Redford crawling through ceilings. River Phoenix crawling through ceilings. Everything's going fucking bad. Kreese and Mother are trying to walk both Martin and River Phoenix through escaping this now security alerted building. Liz is taken hostage. Eddie Jones starts fucking shotgunning the ceiling. He's about to kill Redford. He's doing great work. He gets real imposing at the end. Yeah, he does. He's a threatening guy. Yeah. And then finally, Cosmo comes on over fucking loudspeakers saying like, and this is where the real insecurity complex comes in, where he's like, Martin, you always had to win, didn't you? Blah, blah, blah. And like, I was always second best in our friendship, and you always had to get the girl. Well, now I've got the girl. So Liz is a hostage. Yeah. If you turn yourself in, and the box, I won't blow her brains out or something. So obviously, Robert Redford is a good guy, so he has to do that. So turn himself in. We're reunited in Cosmo's office with Liz, Busfield, and Eddie Jones. And hands over, is about to hand over the box to Ben Kingsley. And Ben Kingsley says, well, I cannot kill my friend. And then orders Busfield.
It's
and,
fucking great. I cannot kill my friend.
Delivery.
You
kill my friend.
Kill my friend. And he walks out of the room. It's fucking great.
And then suddenly Carl drops from the ceiling. There's some wrestling for guns. Martin knocks Eddie Jones out as payback. They run through the building to the roof so they can escape. They're going to go down this fire escape on the side of the building. And the van will pick them up. It's going to be great. Whoops. We cut back to the van, and it turns out the guards have shown up. Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
They've got Kreese and Mother outside of the van. One of the guards calls Kreese Midnight, which was jarring, to say the least. And we find out from Kreese, did I ever tell you why I was kicked out of the CIA? My temper, and then beats the shit out of the guys. Anyway, Whistler has to drive the van, and he is a blind guy. And this should have been the tagline for the film. If you remember from 1978 Superman, the movie, you will believe a man can fly. You will believe a blind can drive.
He does it. It's funny when Redford goes, you're going to have to do it, Whistler. And he's like, do what? You're going to have to drive the van.
Yeah. And then it's also a good bit like, okay, so Martin's on the roof. He's, half mile away over walkie-talkie, whatever. He's having to explain not just, okay, a little left, straighten out, whatever. He's like, okay, put it in reverse, and you're going to have to go about 30 yards. Okay, what's reverse?
What's reverse? Yeah.
One down. Because obviously a blind guy doesn't know. Why would he know that?
Yeah, exactly. My thought was, how does he know where the brake and which one's brake and which one's gas? But one's a little easier to figure out in the moment.
Yeah, it's a great bit. You just a panel van fucking racing down a hill and over fucking dividers, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like, it is, even though it is shockingly low stakes at this point in the movie, it is the action climax. It's David Strathairn driving a van pretending to be blind.
And then when he gets to the stop, the other people run up and goes, where to? As if he's going to keep driving, which I enjoyed.
It's a fun bit of business. So Martin's about to leave the roof. Oh, Cosmo shows up. He's got a gun this time. He's like, why'd you have to be a fucking dick? And then Martin goes ahead and hands over the answering machine. And Cosmo says, why can't you join me on this? We started this journey together. And Redford's thesis in this is it wasn't a journey, it was a prank. I was in college. We weren't really trying to do revolution. We were just trying to get girls.
The whole problem, Redford never took it that seriously.
Yeah. Anyway, he hands over answering machine. Cosmo doesn't shoot him. Just can't, bring himself to do so.
He shoots at him.
It shoots near him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Redford goes down the ladder, get in the van. We escape. The movie's over. They win. Turns out it was the decoy answering machine that Aykroyd had given him earlier. So it's empty. They've still got the real fucking black box. Ba ba ba. Right?
Yeah.
Back
I
to the
like
office.
the ending, by the way. Cosmo didn't have to get killed or fall off the building. He couldn't kill his friend. His friend just walks away, and he's left holding nothing.
Yeah. So we go back to the office. And it turns out the NSA is there. And including the voice from the phone earlier, and it's James Earl Jones doing just exactly James Earl Jones shit.
Yeah.
He's like, we need the fucking box, and ends up basically starting to make deals, and everybody gets what they wanted from the Scrabble party. Trip
Even
to
River
Europe.
Phoenix gets the phone number of the young NSA agent holding an Uzi.
It's actually an MP4, but yes,
He calls it an Uzi.
He calls it an Uzi, and she's very pretty.
Yeah,
and
she's charmed that he could ask for anything he wants, and he wants her number.
Yeah, it's a good time. Aykroyd wants fucking burgundy interior on the Winnebago. James Earl Jones brings
honestly
up
the most
Tahiti
the
is
highest
not in
value
fucking
thing.
Europe.
The highest value thing was the Winnebago. I think that's probably more than the Europe trip.
Probably. I mean, it's probably still under $35,000 though.
Also, he asked for airline tickets. He didn't even ask for hotel rooms, man. You gotta ask for a 4-star room too, bro.
That's true. You could end up in a fucking hostel.
Yeah, dude. Come on.
Yeah. Anyway, everybody gets what they want. Including
except for Whistler.
Including Redford, who says, "You'll clear my record," whatever. And then finally, Whistler gets to make his request. And it turns out that, like he said earlier, he wants peace on earth and goodwill towards men. At which point, James Earl Jones sputters angrily and says, "We are the United States government. We don't do that sort of thing."
Yeah, that's a good line.
Which is so devastatingly fucking true.
Very, very true, especially at this point in time.
Yeah.
I mean, and this point in time as well.
Also, boy. So Redford hands over the box to James Earl Jones, mentions as James Earl Jones is leaving, it doesn't work. It never did. And Jones says, that's not important. What's important is that none of this ever happened and that this box doesn't exist. Like the idea being that there was a minor confrontation earlier in this conversation about how this box is fucking useless for doing the NSA's job. The NSA can only operate overseas. But because this works on American codes, the only thing it's good for is reading everybody in America's email.
Yeah.
And the FBI, et cetera, et cetera. So I guess that's good. So it's illegal for the NSA to have that box, but whatever. The important thing is it doesn't exist. And even if it did,
and
even
also,
if it
Josh,
work,
Americans would never wiretap other Americans. It's never been done in history.
Fucking chilling.
Nixon definitely never did it.
Put a pin in that for like 4 minutes. Okay. So, so it turns out, and Mary McDonald says to Redford, like, you gave him the box, though. You said it didn't work, but it worked. We saw it. And Robert Redford holds up, like, the chip out of the box and is like, it doesn't work for them, blah, blah, blah. Turns out he stole the chip out of it. We cut to a fucking newsreader saying that the Republican Party is now bankrupt, huge donations to the NAACP. I don't remember who else, but a bunch of, fairly liberal organizations. Everybody is happy, movie over.
Do you think Cosmo did that? Or was that Redford doing that with his new box?
I think that was Redford with the chip. Okay,
so you think he maybe learned? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. In my mind, the interesting thing about it is that, remember how I said put a pin in that for 4 more minutes? That's way too soon. You know what the release date for this movie was?
No.
September 11th, 1992.
Okay.
So the American government would never surveil their own citizens. Just keep that in mind.
Put a pin in that for 9 years.
Anyway, an incredibly charming, fun movie. Like, it has no right to be as entertaining and fast-moving as it is.
Yeah, I agree.
The last movie I can think of that's kind of in this class in terms of just, it's fun, it bops, it flows, is like Ocean's 11.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very much so. Ocean's 11 having better music, though. So.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. I definitely failed to mention a number of times it stuck out to me that, like, oh yeah, early 90s. This kind of jazzy.
A lot of cheesy saxophone, a lot of weird comedy music. When I don't know, I don't hate it, but
yeah, it was very much of a different era, or at least like if the music was different, the movie could be taken. I mean, it could still be funny, but could be taken a little more seriously if it wasn't the.
It feels yeah, that was a very good impersonation of it. It I think it makes it feel more like, when you think of the 90s, this feels more like an 80s movie.
Yeah.
And as we all know, the 80s actually ended around 92, so
yeah,
it basically is an 80s movie.
Pretty much. Okay. Do you want to hear about the opening weekend of this movie? It is an important one for us.
Let's knock it out.
Okay. Sneakers opened at number 1, making $10 million that weekend. The budget was like $7 million, and I think overall it made... What did I write down? Sorry. Overall, the budget was $23 million, and it made $105 million. So, pretty good.
Okay.
Number 2, a great movie. Robert Loggia, Nicolas Cage, Honeymoon in Vegas.
I think I mentioned that recently. No, wait, that was Leaving Las Vegas.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen Honeymoon in Vegas for 35 years. I remember enjoying it quite a bit. Number 3, it's a movie that I know we have talked about in person. I very well might have come up on the show. The third entry in a horror franchise. It features a character called CD the DJ.
Oh, that would be Hellraiser.
Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth.
Okay. I love CD Head. Best Cenobite.
Yeah, it's a pretty great one. Number 4, a great movie in its 6th week, Unforgiven.
Yeah.
Number 5, single white female. That has been mentioned on this show at least a dozen times I can think
People
of.
getting single white femaled all over the place on this show.
Yeah. We're going to skip past a couple others. They're fucking boring bullshit. Number 8, Death Becomes Her, fun movie.
Saw
Number
that
9,
on TV the other day. I think my wife was watching
Really?
it. Weird coincidence.
I wonder how that holds up because I remember it being fucking crazy and funny. I think it was a Zemeckis movie.
I don't remember who made it, but I know it was another Bruce Willis situation, right? Yeah. A couple of older ladies fighting over him and literally dying.
I assume they're probably going to remake that fairly soon because relatively recently a Broadway adaptation of that has opened up and is apparently doing very well.
Cool. I'm into it.
Number 9, Sister Act. It's Whoopi. She's doing her thing. Number 10, A League of Their Own.
Another good
Lori
baseball
Petty.
movie.
Lori Petty. Oh, man.
Your
Leave
wife.
that silence in as I'm staring into space. Okay, and then skipping ahead a few to the most important movie of this weekend, a movie that lets me know exactly where I was this weekend. It is a movie we have covered on our podcast.
92.
One of the most important movies in the entire genre. It's a Warner Brothers film. This weekend, it made $618,000.
Ooh, that's not much.
In 58 theaters.
I'm not seeing anything on the list.
You probably won't. It'll never occur to you. This is the theatrical release of the Blade Runner director's cut.
Oh, okay.
Which I saw in the theater on September, I guess it might have been 12th, 1992. Super important movie for the show.
Yeah.
I was scrolling down the list and like, oh, these are interesting. Like, oh, I remember this. Oh, fuck, Blade Runner. Oh, my God. I know exactly. I can picture the theater I was in that weekend. It was in Wichita. I forced my dad to take me.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
Fine
my brother
city of
was
Wichita.
less entertained.
Shall we rate it, or do you have any others?
Okay. I think that's all the important stuff. Charming fucking movie, though.
Charming as hell. Let's talk about the 5 ratings we have for story, influence, prescience, style, and the 1 to 5 hand raiser scale. Some of these might not apply. Story, though, can't really have anything wrong with.
It's hard to argue with this from a story perspective. Like, it's a really good classic caper movie where it's made up of a bunch of puzzle pieces. They all fit together. none of the characters act outside of what the characters should be doing.
Yeah.
And it's honestly 4.5.
4.5 out of 10.
Oh, wait, sorry. 9. Sorry.
I was going to go 8.
Yeah.
I don't have any justification for being less. Maybe it's just because it's solid, but it's not innovative, but really. But I don't know.
I think that's very fair. I think that's very fair. I'm probably giving it a full point just because watching this movie makes me go, man, we used to be a fucking country. Like, we used to be able to produce this type of shit.
Yeah. Influence. Now, sneakers I've rarely even heard mentioned, which I was surprised that it made so much money. You would think, like, when you hear about heist and caper movies, like, you're always hearing about Heat. You're always hearing about Ronin. Why isn't sneakers on the list? Is it because it's more goofy and less serious?
Well, I think that's part of it, because I have not thought about it enough to really solidify this, but I do think a caper versus a heist is like a very different thing. True. Even if they do the same thing, like tonally, they're very different. And I think it's really interesting because this is a movie that has stuck in my head for fucking 33 years. Like, because I remember seeing it in the theater, and like, there's a bunch of great shit in this. Like, this isn't the first thing that I saw David Strathairn in, but this is probably the point at which I was like, man, that guy is good.
Yeah.
And like, a bunch of the weird
this
lines.
Redford kid might do some things.
Yeah, he just might fucking make it.
River Phoenix, he's going to live forever.
He will. Dan Aykroyd.
Got a blowjob from a ghost once.
A ghost sucked him off. Yeah,
it's Sidney Poitier now. I mean, I don't remember who that is. That guy didn't do anything famous.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, it's like, because it's lived in my mind pretty consistently for decades, and I guess it had just never occurred to me, like, oh, everybody else didn't see this back. Like, I don't know. I assume it was on fucking HBO or something. Like, I assumed it was one of those movies that everybody saw, but
I don't think I can give it a high influence because I just haven't heard about it enough. So I'm going to hit it at I don't have any way to justify giving it. Like, I can't think of anything this influenced.
No, I can't either. I mean, it's like a 2 just because, I don't know. I assume people
2 is fair.
You know,
I assume somebody watched. I mean, it's good enough. Somebody had to have watched it. And this honestly feels like more of an influence on the Steven Soderbergh Oceans movies. Yeah, it could have been an influence
than
on
the original fucking Sinatra Oceans movie.
You're right.
Because, boy, that thing is fucking leaden.
Yeah. This has also kind of got like, it's got, I mean, I guess at the time they didn't know, but it has an all-star cast. Like the Oceans movies.
The only person who wasn't a huge star, the only person who wasn't a huge star in this movie was Strathairn. Everybody else had big movies in the past.
I'm gonna up it
3 years.
I'm gonna up mine to 4. Actually, I'm gonna say this probably did have a lot of influence on the Oceans movies. You convinced me.
Okay, I agree. I'll go 4 too.
It just seems like it had to. It's too good to not have had some influence, and it's got a lot of similarities to the Ocean movies. It doesn't matter. This is a bullshit category anyway. Bullshit category number 2, prescience. This is in the past and firmly takes place in the past, so I'm just going to give it an NA.
Yeah, okay, fair.
As for style, it's an interesting call because I would argue this movie does have style. It's not cyberpunk style. It's not pink mohawks and hand razors, but it has its own early 90s gritty, techie, smarmy style that I enjoy.
Yeah, the Playtronics offices are... I'm sure at some point I saw in like Wired magazine or something pictures of like the Apple headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
And I really feel like the art and shit in Cosmo's office and like those horrible chairs.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, this feels nailed to that moment, like very intentionally. Like the production designer is going very intentionally, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. I have to put it in a movie.
But also like the crew's loft and just like the tech everywhere and I don't know. I can't. It is what it is, but I think it's got a little bit of style to it. So I'm going to give it a 5. I'm right down the middle.
Yeah, it's really it's kind of the very tail end of going from analog surveillance stuff to all digital, where you've got the combination of like, a dude holding a microphone and wearing headphones, and also somebody clicky clacking at a keyboard.
Plus those San Francisco Giants trucker caps. Those were
sexy.
Oh, and don't forget Liz's haircut. Holy shit!
Wow, that was the teacher haircut.
Yeah,
like the official teacher haircut from August 1988 to May 1994.
That haircut, aggressive shoulder pads, like super long pencil skirt.
And God, Donald Logue's fucking foreskin looking turtleneck.
All right, what's your rating?
I forget. Oh, style. I think this movie harkens back to a style that we should all aspire to. 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
1 to 5 hand raisers. Sounds like you liked it.
I love this movie almost certainly more than it deserves. I am going to go ahead and give it a 4.5. I mean, it's an amazing movie watching experience. It's not, it's a really good example of when people complain about how, when I bitch about something and somebody says, not all movies have to be art. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Some movies can be this, which is not, some art straining to convey a theme or reach a higher level of understanding at things. It can be fucking entertainment, and God, this movie is pure entertainment. Like, movies don't have to be art. This is a beautiful example of a movie that is not really intentional art and still isn't some dumb piece of shit. Right?
I mean, no, I agree. I give it a 4. Maybe it was marred a little bit by having to call 911 in the midpoint of it and then come back to it. So
yeah, fair. Seems totally reasonable.
Because that was my morning today. But other than that, pretty great.
Yeah, it's just a great fucking night at the movies.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this adventure. Let's talk real quick. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/hightechlowlife. Email us at hightechlowlifepodcast@gmail.com. We're going to try to put together email/fun episode right before Josh leaves that isn't directly covering a property. So it'll just be us dicking around, maybe talking about season 2, because this is the end of season 2 of High Tech Low Life.
Oh, I forgot we were doing seasons now.
We do seasons, motherfucker.
They do seasons now?
They do seasons now.
Exactly like whichever Star Wars movie that was.
So send us an email. Send us a voicemail by going to our linktree/hightechlowlife and leaving a little speak pipe. We'll play it if you want to. And let's talk next week, the season finale.
The season finale. We are going to watch the 2023 PG-13 motion picture, The Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
That's a fucking mouthful.
We had a request for this.
We had a request, and we're hoping to have a guest. If not, we're just going to be covering that ourselves, but we're pretty sure we'll have a guest for that one.
Honestly, if we don't work it out with our guest, maybe we cover something else.
Yeah, if we don't work it out with the guest, we'll save it for when we can work it out with them. So that'll be very fun because it's a very fun guest, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I watched this movie when it came out, and I am now looking at the IMDb, and boy, it has a lot of fun cast. So, I didn't absolutely hate it when I watched it. So we'll find out how great this is, and how
get my songbird and snake on.
Yeah, snakebird song,
snake song in a bird cage.
Ride the snake.
Yes. All right, Josh, hit us with a quote, and we will be on our way.
But the key meeting took place July 3rd, 1958, when the Air Force brought the space visitor to the White House for an interview with President Eisenhower. And Ike said, "Hey, look, give us your technology. We'll give you all the cowlips you want." Bye!
Bye.
This has been the High Tech Low Life podcast. Find us on Bluesky at High Tech Low Life. Email us at hightechlowlifepodcast@gmail.com and find us on Patreon at patreon.com/hightechlowlife. Theme music by Nihilor at nihilor.com. Thank you for listening.
Keep it moving. Come on, what are you waiting on? Let's go. They're trashing our rights, man. They're trashing the fluid data. They're trashing. Hide the planet. Shut up and get in the car.
If you're talking about what you can field, what you can saddle, what you can trot and sprint, then real is simply equestrian signals interpreted by your bay. Ba 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 ba.
See you later, everybody.